मेरे साथ यहाँ से शुरू प्राइस बाकी चलेगा अलग सो 1 2 मिनट्स से स्टार्ट
355 हुआ
नहीं वो स्टार्ट हो जाएगा ये एक्चुअली हम लोगों का टेस्टिंग के लिए 2-3 मिनट
ये क्या वहीं पे अटक गए टाइम जा रहा है
अभी आ जाएगा वो
हाँ यहाँ पे भी आ गया
4 बजे आप स्टार्ट करें वॉइस टेस्ट करना
ऑपरेशन में खुद ही कर रहा हूँ ना ऑपरेशन में खुद ही करूँगा
आपको ऑपरेशन किसको करना है आपको खाली टॉप करना है नेक्स्ट हाँ नेक्स्ट करना बाकी ऑपरेशन भी दे देगा कुछ ठीक है
थैंक यू Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this webinar on Department of Petroleum Engineering and Net Sciences. This is Dr. V.L. Narasimham, and along with me we have Dr. Mahachan. He is from Chemical Engineering Department, and it is a sunny afternoon at Dehradun and very pleasant. And welcome to students, parents, and guardians to the webinar on Department of Petroleum Engineering and Net Sciences. So UPES, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, has got 3 colleges. One is the Business School or a Business College of Management and Economic Studies, College of Legal Studies, and College of Engineering Studies. So I represent College of Engineering Studies, and Petroleum Engineering and Sciences belongs to College of Engineering Studies. So Petroleum Engineering and Net Sciences, if you just take it as a single entity, oil and gas, it has got different BTech programs. The applied petroleum engineering upstream, applied petroleum engineering gas, chemical engineering, geosciences engineering, geoinformatics engineering, and mining engineering. So all these programs, BTech 4-year programs, 8-semester programs, belong to petroleum engineering and net sciences as a entity. And I just want to apprise you the different components that each program has got. And in case you have any doubts, we will take them in the end. Normally when the counseling happens, students generally ask some questions. What is the difference between upstream, midstream, downstream kind of areas? Generally they get some kind of a curiosity also sometimes, and sometimes they get little bogged down by these words. I just want to give you a kind of a small glimpse only. Of course PPT is more elaborated. Largely in case you see the upstream, it is largely starts with the competitive bidding of any proved reserves of oil and gas, sometimes even coal bed methane also, and the risk management. So there we estimate the reserves, we characterize the reserves or the area that has got potential for exploration, and we also do the economic evaluation, how much we have to invest, what could be the returns, when we will get the returns. And we have to analyze the data. Data belongs to different streams of engineering, that also belongs to geology, maybe geosciences as an entity, geophysics and micropaleontology and soil mechanics. So some of these components we have different data, we need to process the data and see the potentiality of really making a kind of a profitable exploration. And for this we need to have a strategic planning also. So upstream is actually a kind of a applied petroleum engineering in the, if you see as a entire course of 8 semesters, you can just see in terms of these smaller domains. Of course I am not elaborating more on that. And now comes the midstream. Midstream belongs to the middle two columns, both together. So normally we explore the oil and gas reserves, and sometimes after we exhaust the initial efforts, whatever the initial efforts we do, then we go for a kind of a secondary mechanisms of recovery, we go to the tertiary mechanism of recovery. We may use different mechanisms in terms of microbial or maybe microwave, that is a thermal kind of a mechanism. So we use different techniques, different tools to recover whatever could not be recovered in the primary recovery. So that goes partially into a midstream. But once we started recovering the reserves, we need to distribute them through different pipelines or maybe from offshore to onshore for processing, for storaging different facilities, and we need to process them. That can, no, it is a raw material, being a raw material we need to process them, and we need to also see the fractionation process that can happen, who is the marketing or who is the person who needs this kind of a raw material. So all these mechanisms, all these kind of components we may study in the part of midstream. But as we go to the downstream, yes, we got a kind of a raw material, we have a buyer also, like any downstream industry, oil and gas industry or maybe refinery industry. So those people, refinery people, they really produce different types of materials depending upon its specific gravity or maybe depending upon the sulfur content or different kinds of composition. And as per the market demand, whatever the market demands, accordingly they need to process that particular item in their chemical industry, and then they do a kind of a supply chain, and maybe they do trading also some of these products. So these are the processes which we happen in the downstream. So generally what we have to just understand the upstream, midstream and downstream kind of a scenarios is, industries are there in the upstream sector, that is like Oil and Gas Commission or Corporation Limited, and you also know maybe Keynes, you may be also knowing the Reliance. These are the industries which they are looking in terms of the upstream. But Reliance, like an industry, is also into a kind of downstream industry. They are also doing a kind of a refining, they are also doing a kind of distillation, they are also producing kind of a naphtha. So it is at both the ends, it is at the upstream end as well as at the downstream end. And in case you see IOCL or maybe BPCL, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, these people, they do a kind of a supply mechanisms. Sometimes they also GAIL, in case you see, they are also into pipelining engineering aspects. So that is where we see a supply chain kind of a component. That means we are we are doing a kind of a pipeline transportation. Sometimes we do a kind of a road transportation or a rail transportation also. So that is what actually we categorize the industries as per the upstream and the downstream. And the courses actually needs to take industry components at the both the ends. So that's a definition of what we mean by upstream kind of a scenario. And maybe if you are looking at a kind of a BTech chemical engineering kind of a programs. But in case you have more kind of information required, chemical engineering, we have another expertise on that. They will be discussing more on that. So I just give you again a small glimpse of what is we mean by upstream APE, that is applied petroleum engineering. So we do a kind of a geological, geophysical kind of a surveying, that means a sampling, maybe you have to see the rock analysis. Of course, we don't have to do the rock analysis part, but in case somebody has already done, this data is already available, we need to actually understand what do we mean by that analysis information, what it says. So that is what actually we mean by rock analysis, or maybe a kind of a stratigraphy, or a seismic kind of a geophysics kind of a scenarios. So these exploration techniques, these are the exploration techniques, and we need to be confident with the techniques, and that information whatever somebody must have done and produced, that we need to actually understand to really take a decision in terms of what we want to do, a kind of recovery or a kind of different drilling mechanisms that we want to adopt. So then we go to a kind of a reservoir engineering part, where we have to characterize the reservoir. We need to see the modeling and forecasting, how long it will sustain the reservoir. So there are many kind of issues that come up with the industry, and we need to learn them such that we can be industry ready as and when the placement kind of a time comes. So there is a kind of a drilling challenges also there. So there are many technologies started coming up, many innovations have started coming up. Learn some of them which are, some of them we need to see as per the current available resources, like knowledge resources. We have to also depend upon some kind of videos or maybe some kind of that is available but not in. So those kind of challenges, what we have to do, this part actually is the core content of what we mean by a kind of an exploration and production mechanisms. So this smaller version in a single slide, I'm showing you 8 semesters component. It is too ambitious maybe, but this is the crux of what we mean by a upstream kind of a scenario. And if we see a kind of a gas stream, APE gas kind of a scenario, gas is also another energy resource. Sometime back actually it was not used properly, so they were flaring, the gas flaring was used to happen, and we lost that energy in the past, but we need to conserve that particular energy also now, and we need to use for different industries like fertilizers, or maybe we have to generate the power also using the gas. So gas is also another energy requirements, so that's the reason we need to also look at this particular discipline in our engineering programs. Here also you will be knowing, because gas also exists in the beneath the earth, and beneath the earth means you have this kind of a rock, or maybe you have the soil, or maybe you have a combination of different rock types, and we need to also understand at what thermodynamics they are playing in the controlling that particular gas as a kind of reservoir, and we need to design some kind of a systems as per that particular geography, as per that particular geology. And we also need to see what type of liquid transportation, the facilities that has to be created for the gas storage as well as the supply. So this particular information falls under the gas stream. And again, when we want to look at a kind of production and a processing kind of a part, we need to see some kind of a fractionation. We have to see purification in case there are any bad elements in the system. We need to understand that there is a process that happens. And there are some natural gas thermodynamics. We have to see the distribution, like if you see the, you must be already seeing the Delhi kind of regions, we have a distribution, CNG distributions. So we need to see the retailing part also. That is what we come at a kind of retailing. And again, we also maybe see the gas distribution using the pipeline networks for domestic purpose, domestic cooking purpose, something like that. So there are different components that will be taught in APE gas, and that is slightly differ from APE upstream, which you have seen in the previous slide. So coming back to geosciences engineering, of course it is more focused in the geological exploration, geophysical exploration, as well as geochemical exploration, and we need to see some kind of a stable isotopes that are associated with the hydrocarbons, associated with the gas stream, and accordingly we need to see how to really see the migration of hydrocarbons or migration of the gas that is happening from one place to another place, and that is a kind of a tracers. These are stable isotopes. In case you see the carbon or oxygen, they are a kind of a stable isotope. They don't get fractionated as per the nuclear or maybe radioactive isotopes. You may be already knowing, so that is the reason we have used those words in our text. And in case you go for a geosciences engineering, there is a resource evaluation is more important, where geostatistics play an important role of really understanding whether it is hydrocarbon resources, coal resources, or even metal resources. So we need to understand what is the extent the deposit is available, at what depth it is available, and what could be the economics. That means how long it will really pay us a kind of a returns. So that is the reason we need to understand the economic geology part, and we also see a kind of a statistical modeling part. Remote sensing GS/GP is also one component of geosciences engineering as well as the geoinformatics engineering, where we normally map the land resources using a satellite images, because India is very popular in satellites launching activities. ISRO, in case you already know that, and they have launched a series of satellites, and most of them are really giving us a lot of information from time to time. And this is the time where these kind of programs, geosciences engineering, geoinformatics engineering, or maybe in case you see the gas kind of a programs, will really give a kind of a boost to your future growth in case you are comfortable with these kind of a landings. And of course, rock mechanics is a one component where you need to see the, in case you want to go for even a tunneling, in case in India they are actually looking for a kind of infrastructure development, where they are also looking for a kind of a railway infrastructure or road infrastructure. So we need to understand the soil conditions. We also need to see, in case we do a kind of a tunneling in a massive hillocks, we need to understand whether the rock mechanics are suitable for us to really lay down such a kind of a long railway tracks or maybe road tracks. So on the infrastructure part also, we need to have the geology as an important component, and asset management or asset evaluation or economics or a risk management of doing a particular activity now or doing a particular activity later point of time. So that is what we normally see, a kind of a decision that has been taken up now, a decision that can be postponed, a decision can be delayed, or a decision need to be taken. So that is what we mean by economics in the asset management, whether it is a coal, whether it is a metal deposits, whether even a hydrocarbon deposits. Again, you have a kind of formation evaluation kind of a techniques, where you are looking, because each hydrocarbon reserve, each coal reserve, each bauxite, iron, whatever you may name them, they are different in different geographies. They do not occur in the same fashion. So that's the reason we need to evaluate them and take a decision. So that comes under geosciences engineering. Geoinformatics engineering also has got some component of earth sciences, that is the geological as well as the geographical kind of a conditions. And of course, ancillary units, ancillary information like demographic information is also important, because in case you want to explore a geography, in case you want to you encounter there is a very good deposit beneath a particular park, beneath a particular geography which is already thickly populated. So we need to take a better decision in such kind of conditions. So geoinformatics will help you to really map the area in a more sophisticated way, and it is a tool largely, and a lot of development is happening in the sector. And we also learn a kind of a geostatics. There also we can use them, and we can digitize, we can model, we can customize the thing, we can do different layers of the land use covers, or maybe in case you are going for a reservoir, you can see a different depth wise layers you can prepare that can really give you a better decision modeling. So these things were not there in the past. People were doing it maybe in a kind of a method that was not very suitable, maybe suitable at that point of time, but not suitable at this present time. So we need to learn some kind of these courses that will really elevate your knowledge about understanding, because most of the data is available for us, but the data is in a kind of a format that was not suitable for interpretation. We need to digitize and see that data, how it really helps us to take a better decisions. So these courses are the actually normally will help you to grow in your career much better than what people are doing at this moment. And in case you see the GPS and navigation system, of course most of you have a mobile which shows you the GPS kind of navigation systems. The same thing applies for a kind of a drilling operations also. In the drilling operations, we do not know how the pipe is actually going inside the earth, whether any deviation has been happening, even a 1 degree or a 0.5 degree angular deviation, in case it happens, we may encounter a wrong place rather than a right place. So that's the reason we need to really understand the navigation systems that will really play an important role in drilling and operations. And as I said, customization is another component. That means we need to customize as per the industry's requirement. Customization means we are as per the industry, like IOC may need a kind of a different customization, BPCL may need a different kind of customization. So depending upon the industry requirements, depending upon the applications which we are doing, we need to do a kind of customization. Routing is another area where pipeline routing you can understand, or maybe you can see a kind of a bus transportation routing, or even a kind of emergency routing in case you want to see. So routing has got a different applications, and asset mapping and evaluation is also part of the geoinformatics engineering. And lastly, in case you see the mining engineering, we started last year this particular program where we are looking mine planning as one component, mineral economics, economic geology is another component. Machinery is largely the machinery that has been done in the past. The machinery that we are using at this moment are completely different, and we have many robotics playing a role in the industry. So that's the reason the attractiveness has really given this mining engineering from the past. In case you just see, it is completely different industry now, and a more clean, more environmental friendly kind of operations that we want to do. And there are many restrictions in case you see in the legal point of view or environmental point of view. So being an engineer, being a kind of a technocrat, I think you are the right person to really use the current knowledge or current techniques, including the robotics or maybe including the unmanned vehicles. Unmanned vehicles means nobody will be there in that, but subsurface mining, in case you want to go for a sub-ocean mining also, in case you want to go to the bottom of the ocean and do a kind of a manganese nodules like a mining, there people won't go there and people won't do any job. So we need to really see unmanned vehicles is the only solution for such a kind of a interior mining that in Pacific they are planning, in New Zealand also it is planning for iron ore mining in the Pacific Ocean. So there are ample opportunities, ample growth mechanisms that can happen once you come out. Maybe I am talking in terms of 2018, 2019, that period I think it will really give you a lot of scope for you to really develop. And again, there are many competitions also that are happening on the extraterrestrial robotics. Extraterrestrial robotics you must be already knowing, and in case in the 2014 onwards we have really done, not India, globally in case you see, there are many satellites have been launched, and some of them actually they bombarded the asteroids, bombarded the the comets to really see what is inside. And Mars rover, you already know what it is doing for the past maybe 4 to 5 years. It has really given a lot of information about the extraterrestrial iron deposits or maybe any kind of mineral wealth that is there. So these kind of courses will help you to really make some kind of a new techniques, to develop a new thoughts in the currently existing mining engineering, to make it more environment friendly, more a kind of legally acceptable kind of a mining engineering. So we also look at the geostatistics here. We also look at the kind of a software that is a SARPAC kind of a thing. We are looking at a kind of metal deposits, non-metal deposits. We are also looking at a placer deposits. Placer deposits means the thorium ilmenite. So thorium is also an energy resource for us. Ilmenite is a titanium resource. Aeroplane, aerospace, in case you see, mostly they use the titanium as their raw material. And we also need to know the geotechnical engineering. We also see that the mining law, negotiations, these also will help us to really take a better decisions. So that's the reason mining law is also one component in your course. And asset valuation, that is any kind of metal, non-metal, or maybe placer deposit valuation that we have to do. And we also try to see the quality of that particular mineral, quality of a particular coal. Coal has got different varieties, in case you already know. Some will give you more smoke, some will not give you any smoke. So the carbon content is the mechanism to understand the coal deposits. So that's the reason we will be in a position to really assess the quality of these deposits. As per the quality, the price varies. As per the quality, your technique of mining also varies. As per the quality, in case you want to negotiate the external means in case you want to go to Indonesia and buy a kind of a coal deposit, in case you want to go to Mozambique and want to buy a kind of a asset, we need to assess these kind of a scenarios. A mining engineer is a kind of a guy is not that is only doing a kind of a engineer the mining part, but he has to be in a kind of position to really understand the quality of the asset and valuation also. He has to be in a position to value that particular asset in case you want to buy a particular small piece of area to really explore. So cooperative mining, some places you can see a cooperative mining. Cooperative mining means you already understand smaller pieces of activities like milk distribution they do. Similarly, the cooperative mining is also one component people are starting doing it. So there is a corporate mining, there is a cooperative mining depending upon the deposits. So being you guys, in case you really take up these kind of programs, will generate a kind of a new opportunities. That's what the excitement that is lying with these programs. So this is a small introduction about these programs which we are doing. As you may be knowing in other places also, we have a 3 components. There's a lecture component, there's a practical component, and there's an industry related component that goes parallelly with the different semesters. And we have a core courses, we have a department courses, that is petroleum engineering and sciences department as a core courses, as a kind of department courses. Core courses means you can also see like physics, chemistry, mathematics, some of those things. Interdisciplinary courses is also one component where we can seek the support from the computer science engineering or maybe electrical engineering or electronics engineering, because unless you really see the instrumentation that goes into mining industry or maybe geoinformatics industry or maybe in the petroleum engineering side, we need to know different instruments also. That's the reason the expertise from other departments is also necessary, and you will be exposed to those department faculty also in the period. And there is a lab and industry based component where laboratory of course is a compulsory component, and we have a summer internships where you may be attached with some industries, and you will be doing a partly maybe 4 to 5 weeks summer internship with them as per your interest, as per the convenience that is available, as per your core expertise in case you develop by that time. And of course comprehensive viva, then industry experts will be there and academic experts will be there. You will be knowing both the ways of learning that part. And there is a project based component where you have to do a kind of industry too, or you have to get voluntary attachment for a period of industry attachment to learn something. There is a minor project, there is a major project where again you can get associated with the industry, or maybe you can develop your own small tools for the innovative tools for the entrepreneurship, or maybe incubation kind of any area you can do, or even you can develop some kind of a solutions for the industry. So these are all what we mean by major project kind of a scenario. There are different ways of understanding the major project. So by that time I think you arrive, maybe you will understand from your seniors, maybe things will definitely change by the time you come to major project time. So there is a practical and industry components, like industry visit you may do onshore assets, because onshore is the possible transportation and a very economically viable solution for us. So we may do onshore assets, oil and gas collection stations, operations you can see, and desalination plants as per the salinity will increase as we go deeper and deeper in the offshore. So we need to see the salinity has to be reduced in the crude for its further process. So we can see that kind of scenarios. And summer internship, there are many upstream asset companies that are coming, many ancillary companies that are coming, that are supporting industries or service industries to the primary industries. So we can be associated with either of them. And we can also see the telemetry, we can see the SCADA kind of scenarios, again is a service industry towards the hydrocarbon sector. And midstream industry is also there. There are many software started coming up. These were not there maybe in case you see the 7-8 years back, we didn't have this opportunity. But now the softwares were very much coming into the academic modules, and we have at least 3-4 very solid practicals that can be done, or maybe solid projects can be generated with the using the softwares. And remote sensing GSEs, we have expertise. We have been associated with National Remote Sensing Center also, and here also in Dehradun we have IRS. So there are ample ways to really know the industry people, seek their support, or maybe visit their places and use their service, their facilities, their technical expertise for betterment. And there is a kind of a low grade processing. Now economics comes into picture. We have expertise in low grade iron ore processing facilities also, And mineral beneficiation is another core area which we are looking in case possibilities are there. So these are all, I'm just giving you all the petroleum engineering exercises in a nutshell. So these are not the only thing, there are many other components that can be added within this. So there are different laboratories which you can see from a optical microscopy onwards. You can map the structural lineaments that are the pages, that is where actually you can see the occurrence of any mineral deposit, occurrence of any hydrocarbons. So that is the reason we need to know the structural and lineament components. And photogrammetry and remote sensing or digital image processing is the key area in India, and we have been very popular with our satellite images. And water soil analysis is also required to really see the environmental part. These are all actually compulsory components. Any in Indian government regulations part, environment legal aspects are compulsory in any kind of educational curriculum. So that's the reason we need to also see how sustainable the activities that we are doing. So we need to also understand the water and soil content part also. So laboratories on the petroleum engineering side, you have the reservoir studies that can be possible. You can use we have a rig zone, that is the complete drilling setup we have with our university, and there are many data is available for well logging to really practice how the well logging can be done. And in case you want to go for a kind of a drilling, if you want to go to cementation, if you want to use a drilling fluids, if you want to generate, there are ample opportunities also towards going for a patent mechanism. So by the time you really come, that means 2 years down the line, I think these are all very possibilities, very much possible outcomes that we are expecting through your participation. So there are different student chapters with our university, very popular. You must be already knowing through Facebook, or maybe your seniors must have been talking to you. These student chapters are very active for the last 7 to 8 years. And SP is very popular. SCG, that is the Society for Exploration Geophysics, American Association of Petroleum Geologists. So these associations are doing a wonderful job. We can see the February 15th only we have on Valentine's Day we were celebrating the SP Regional Student Paper Contest. So that's the enthusiasm of the students, and there are many industries that have sponsored that particular occasion, and it has been a very successful outcome in the last year, I mean this year with the outgoing batch. And there are many international participants that have come up with this participation from different countries, like you have seen already, Russia, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, and maybe Bangladesh. And our students also really have secured the prizes at Amsterdam, like the Shell Ideas 360. And Schlumberger Ocean Plug competition is a regular affair for us. Regular success has been happening with them. And SP, we have the Gold Standard Award also. Different 2011, 12 onwards, we have been doing it successfully. And one question that comes is, what is the role of mining industry and women? And how women has to really take care of these kind of programs. These are all in the past masculine programs, more oriented towards the men. But if you see these kind of smaller articles, there is a really lot of scope now for the women to really take up either applied petroleum engineering, or maybe applied petroleum engineering gas, or maybe geosciences engineering, or geoinformatics engineering, or mining engineering. And they have a lot of scope. Even we have a faculty within our department, mining engineering, a women faculty. So there are now the things have changed. At one point of time, maybe this is not a right industry, but now women have really taken up that strength in them, and they are doing really wonderful. You have seen the previous SPE photos also. There are many girls in that. So these industries, these courses is not now a gender based kind of a courses. There are ample opportunities for you also to take up in this industry. Similarly, in case you see the mining talent for the study of a women on the board. So mining industries, they also seek the women as a board of directors. And it's not for the namesake, they need to have some knowledge also about the mining industry. So there is a corporate life also for the mining engineering, and there is a industry related opportunities also for the mining engineer women mining engineers. So this way the society has been changing. Globally there are a lot of changes have come up. So this is the time for you to take up a call on whichever interest you feel. I think you should really serve your future. So there are some statistics which you see is available statistics with us, and there are just 27 eligible. The first column shows the number of students, the second column shows the number of students that are eligible, the third column shows who have been, how the column, the students that have been placed. So that is the very encouraging number. Whatever we are getting, we have been really doing with them, whether it is a chemical, whether it is AP, gas. So I don't think that way a serious question comes, but in case you have questions, I can take from you. And this is my, I think, last presentation or last slide for me. In case you have any doubts, I can come back and answer to you. So I started maybe 30 minutes. You can take whatever time that is available to you. I can answer some of these questions. Gaurav Tiwari has asked what he has chosen the upstream and what are the career opportunities. Career opportunities in upstream are plenty, both in the public sector as well as in the private sector. But public sector, they are looking for a kind of a GATE examination score, and you need to appear for the GATE score, and like ONGC, or in case you are looking for BPCL, IOCL or GATE, they are going with a kind of a GATE score. So for public sector, it is a kind of a mandatory requirement for you to secure the GATE score to appear for them for their interview. But private sector, there are many core companies, many ancillary companies that can support your interest. Gaurav Patel has asked 3962 is rank, but at this moment we cannot really say anything about that particular rank, because on the day you have been called, maybe there were already 1 or 2 days must have passed. So unless we see the live trend that has been happening with the programs, we cannot say anything with that number, because there will be absentees also in between, or there can be people are looking at some kind of programs more interestingly, and some people may be actually not looking at those kind of programs. So it's up to day when you really look. I think you will be able to understand by yourself rather than suggestions. And Ekta Singhal, there is one lady, she has been asking here, she has applied from the board merit. So board merit, there is another category completely altogether, and maybe as per the instructions that you have received through email or maybe through any kind of a personal communication, accordingly you take a decision on that. Because we do not know about the percentage, and we do not know what are the available seats on that at this moment. So we are not looking at that. Maybe on the day of admission, definitely you will be in a better position to understand the scenario. Soumya Sadwal, there is one lady, what is the job profile of a geosciences like? Geosciences is you can go for any kind of an exploration. Largely we are looking, understanding the land resources or natural resources, whether it is a metal or maybe whether it is a petroleum or hydrocarbons or a coal. We are understanding the resources in terms of different tools, and we are estimating that particular reserve, and maybe we are giving a kind of a method for exploration to the any drilling engineer or any kind of a operation engineer. So we are actually understanding the whole asset in terms of the value, its quality and its depth, and what are the ways to really explore that particular thing towards economic point of view. So that is the simple logic that the geosciences happens. Of course, you can also go for a hydrogeologist kind of a scenario, or you can go for a Geological Survey of India geologist mechanism that all comes with Union Public Service Commission examinations. So that way there are ample scope for you to really take up your score. There is one question from Jnan Ranjan Das. She is asking about his percentage is 95 in 12th and 94 in PCM. With that, actually on the day of your call, on the day on which you have been called for the counseling, and we do not know what is how many number of students are there before you. So unless we know the number of students before you, we cannot make any statement by this kind of webinar. Thank you for that question. And he is asking also what kind of a stream he have to go. See, all these streams are very perfect. They have been really doing wonderful, no, with respect to the placement, with respect to the academics point of view. First, you need to know your strength, where actually your interest lies. In case that is understood by you, maybe you can take a better decision than we deciding anything on your behalf of. Because you already scored 95 and your scores in PCM is also very good. So I think you should be the right person to understand yourself which kind of a stream is good for you rather than we deciding on behalf of you. Thank you. And Shamanand is one person, he has asked about his ranking 15846. The same thing applies for me here also, because there are, as per that, there are 15845 guys before you, and there are possibilities of this rank is getting distributed for more than 2-3 guys, the same rank. So then they will see the PCM marks for your call. So unless we really know what people have done before your ranking, we cannot decide, we cannot tell, rather we cannot predict anything with this kind of number. So you have been called maybe on some date. So on that day, I think you should be the right, you should be knowing exactly by yourself. Soumya Sadwal has asked another question, being a girls, whether geosciences is good or geoinformatics is good. It is not a gender based course. Courses cannot be, now education cannot be divided by gender. Both the courses are good, and both the courses are giving ample opportunities for both the girls and boys. And we have seen for the past 5-6 batches, girls are present almost in both the streams, almost in a good number, and they are doing very good also. It's not that they are doing good in one, they are not doing another thing good. So anything is acceptable to you. First you try to understand by yourself, you understand the interest that lies with you, and accordingly we can decide whichever is good for you. But I feel both are very good for girl students in case you want to go for that, and you can definitely do better also. That's what our previous records say. Any program with BTech MBA dual degree in oil sector? No, we do not have. Gaurav Patel asked this question. We do not have any dual degree in petroleum engineering as well as in the oil and gas together. That is a dual degree. But you can pursue after BTech program in case you still have an interest in the management sector. You can take up MBA oil and gas management, MBA energy trading, or MBA logistics and supply chain management, MBA power management. So there are different really wonderful programs with UPES. The choice is yours. So let us first take up the first program first, that means the BTech program first, and as time passes you can decide yourself whether you want to go for management program also. Soumya Sadhwal has asked another question, what are the field-based jobs available in APE gas? Dr. Mahajan is there, maybe he is the right person to answer that question.
No, in the gas field you are having both office job as well as the field-based job. So in the office job you can do on the softwares. So because in petrol that Eclipse softwares are there, so you can perform whatever job in the office, or you can go for the field job. It depends on the company to company, and all the companies they are having field based as well as office jobs. So in the past we are having girl students, they are opting for field job as well as they are opting for office job. So now it's your wish if you want to go for an office job or you can go for a field job. So in the UPS we are not having any dual degree program which is related to petroleum sector. If you want to pursue, you can go for the BTech LLB course. So in that you are having the BTech plus you are having one LLB degree. But in petroleum sector we are not having any course which is related to the dual degree. As I told that we can't say that on 1993 which you will get gas or not. So it depends how many people are opting for gas before you and how many people they are absent or they will go for some other courses in UPS. So based on your rank you will be called, and based on the available seats you can go for either waitlist or you can go for a confirmed program. Basically all the courses in the petroleum and earth sciences and chemical engineering department, they are very good course. So you can't compare one course with the other. Now it depends on your preference which sector you want. If you want to go for a field job, then you can either go for a applied petroleum engineering upstream, or you can go for gas engineering, or you can go for chemical engineering. So in all the courses you are having field job as well as you are having the office jobs.
There's one question from Soumya Satwal. What is the job profile for geoinformatics like? Normally there are spatial scientists, we call them as a spatial scientist, where we need to understand the geography as well as the geology, and most of the things come with a kind of a planning, a route planning in case you want to unknown areas or maybe virgin areas in case we want to make a road planning or maybe a kind of a railway planning, or we want to go kind of a pipeline engineering kind of a planning. We need to see the geoinformatics engineering only. We need to contact the geoinformatics engineer only. So that is one part of the story. As I said, the routing, surveying and planning, and again asset, any kind of a port, seaport, in case you see a seaport, is a very huge area, very it depends upon the geography that is available. So in such a kind of a area, in case you want to really find out the containers, and in case you want to really see the wagons that are available. So we need to understand using the geoinformatics only. So largely it depends upon a large assets and a large scale of planning in case you want to take up for routing or maybe surveying area. And even if you have some kind of a data that is already available from oil and gas industry sector like Infosys or any in case you see Wipro, they have been really doing a lot of analysis of the available data. For that part also we need to have a geoinformatics engineer. So there is a possibility for you to be in the field side, that means any kind of a port areas in case you want to go for a route planning. And there is a kind of a corporate life also where you can also be associated with some kind of IT industries where they are just doing a kind of a data analysis of the previously already available data. So that is the difference between what you can do being a field geoinformatics engineer or maybe a corporate level of geoinformatics engineering. There is a Sri Shakti Textiles. There is one question: what are the PG courses for which the BTech Geosciences are eligible? PG courses, again, I am not very sure whether you are looking for UPES PG courses or any external PG courses, because most of our students, they go for abroad also by passing this GRE and maybe a kind of a TOEFL examinations, and many of them they are doing at Europe, that means Germany, and some of them they went to Canada for pursuing their master's program after BTech Geosciences and BTech Geoinformatics Engineering. And some of them they have qualified the GATE engineering, GATE entrance test, and they have also pursuing their MTech programs at IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur. So that possibility is also there. In case you want to go for a kind of a management degree also, as I been repeatedly telling, UPS also has gives you many management degree programs or postgraduate programs where geoscience engineers are eligible for pursuing that kind of a postgraduate program. So if you want to go abroad, there is a possibility to pursue MS program. If you want to go for a IIT kind of a national premier institutes, you can go for MTech programs there. And in case you want to continue a management kind of related programs in oil and gas management or maybe energy trading at UPES, even then also the PG program can be successful. You can pursue successfully those kind of programs. There's one question actually Gaurav Patel was asking, can you give the link to know the last year cutoff? Like it is a last year cutoff is like a yesterday's newspaper. Yesterday's newspaper has no value now because yesterday's newspaper is day before yesterday's news. So that way you cannot actually really extrapolate or interpolate with the data that is already a kind of a dead data. You know, it has no life in that data and you cannot make anything out of that because we do not know how many really percentage of people have appeared now and what are their PCM scores also. So the PCM scores of 2014 will be different, 2015 will be also different, and it's not easy. You cannot really make any kind of a judgment with the data that is already available like with 2014. So it is just, I think you please ignore that information. Try to focus with whatever the rank you have got and whatever the date that has been given to you. Accordingly you try to appear on that date and see yourself what is the scenario that is available of number of programs that are there within the UPES, and you can also look for any other engineering program in case you feel your rank is not suitable for like petroleum engineering or geosciences engineering on that day. So there can be a possibility. You can actually secure one seat in any kind of a program that is as per the availability, and you can also secure your seat in the wait list as per your interest. So it's not easy to really predict anything with the 2014 data. Anyway, most of the questions have been almost similar, but again I repeat one or two highlights of these questions whatever we have received. One is predicting with the rank that you have got. Whatever the rank you have got, as per the given date, please appear in the counseling, and there will be a display of information that is available to you as per the available seats against that particular program, and you can judge on that day. So there is nothing that we can say with the rank at this moment. So try to ignore that information. Secondly, in case you have a PCM scores of 80, 90, whatever may be the percentage you have already secured, again based upon that we cannot say much before the date of counseling. So it is not possible, humanly not possible, to make any kind of a statement on your possible securing of any kind of a program. So that is also not in our agenda. And in case you are looking for a geosciences or geoinformatics, there are possibilities that both can appear in some of the industries together, and there are exclusive industries where geoinformatics can also go there, like in case you are looking for a kind of a IT based industries. So sometimes in case you are good in programming, in case you are good at .NET or maybe C# or maybe any other kind of a programming, maybe you are the right person to go into a kind of a software industry to really customize the geoinformatics course. Whereas if you are good at field observations, field analysis, data analysis, in case you know what is the intricacies of geology or the geographical conditions, maybe you are the right person to be on the field side, where you can be really contribute a lot to the industry in terms of how to go for an exploration. So geoscience is also one of those primary areas of requirement in the industry. And APE gas, APE upstream, they have been very well doing for the past many years. So they'll be definitely doing better in the upcoming years also. And you can take up either of those programs also. And all these programs, we encourage girl students to take part and try to be part of those programs, and see yourself the growth that can happen at the end of the 4 years. So far I do not have any much questions. There was one question from Balachandru: how to enter into ONGC after completion of BE Petroleum Engineering? So we have given some information. After completion of BTech Petroleum Engineering, you need to appear the GATE examination, and all the public sector like ONGC, GAIL, HPCL, BPCL or any other industries, they are going through the recruitment using the GATE score. So GATE score is a compulsory or a mandatory requirement for public sector recruitment. So that's the reason after completion of this BTech program, you can appear for the GATE examination and get a good percentile, and then appear for their call, ONGC call. Yeah, thank you very much for your time and spending some of these things. You can see the YouTube in the post whenever you get the free time. And in case you have any doubts, you have the toll-free number. You can contact the toll-free number and seek some of the information that you could not get it now. And we all wish you all the best, and we want to also see you at UPS very soon. Thank you very much.